In the previous training video, I showed you how you can link your workbooks together by using the consolidating data feature. Well, here I want to show you a few more ways you can go about doing it. One way is by hitting the equals key on the keyboard and selecting another cell, either within the same worksheet or the same workbook but a different worksheet or another workbook. And then when you hit enter on the keyboard, it pulls in the contents of that cell because it's linked to it. So any changes that you make to it will update it. Let me go ahead and hit undo a couple of times. And another way that you can do this, if it's not multiple workbooks, and you can see down below I've got 3 employees and their corresponding workbooks for sales that they made for these items here. So for Dot, the items there, Gertie, and Lizzie. But if I just want to keep track of one workbook, in other words I want to pull in the contents and link it to that workbook, let's do it for Dot. Go ahead and select the range, and then Control-C to copy. Go back to the workbook and then select the first cell and right-click on it, and then you get the paste options, the least of which is the last one, that it will paste it but also link back to her workbook. When I click on it, you can see that any cell that I select up here in the formula bar, it's pulling in from her workbook, sheet 1, cell C7 or C6 and so on. So when I go back to Dot Warner, and she made 0 cells here, and I type in 5 and hit enter, and I go back to the workbook, it pulls in 5. Cool. But I want to do this across the board for all 3 employees. I want to pull in their sales that they made for Double Bubble, for Dot, Gertie, and Lizzie, and also for Nerds Rope and the rest of the items here. So let me go ahead and hit undo a couple of times and do this again, but instead of copying and pasting, we'll hit the equals key on the keyboard. And as you recall in the previous training video, there's a couple ways you can go about accessing those other workbooks. To select the cell that you want to reference to pull in for the cells Double Bubble made by Dot, Gertie, and Lizzie. So one way is when you hit equals, come up here and click on the View tab, go to the window group, click on Switch Windows, and we can go to Dot, pulls us right into her workbook, select the cell, and you can see up here in the formula bar, it's Dot, sheet 1, cell C5. Hit the plus key on the keyboard, and let's go ahead and go to the next one. You can click on View, Switch Windows, Gertie, select her Double Bubble quantity and sales, plus, or you can just come down and click on the corresponding button to the window that's open for the workbook, Lizzie McGuire, the last one. Select quantity for Double Bubble, hit enter, and there we go. You can see when I select the cell up here in the formula bar, we've got Dot on sheet 1, cell C5, plus Gertie in C5, and then Lizzie in cell C5. And if I make any changes to it, and I believe Gertie is the one that made a total of 2 cells, the other 2 didn't. Let's go to Gertie. Oh, there we go. Let's say that she updated her workbook to 3, then it should reflect that change. Hey, there we go, to 3 here. Cool. Now, of course, this is only going to work if you have all the workbooks open that you want to link to. And another way that we can go about doing this, if you'd like, let me go ahead and clear that, is to come up here on the View tab to the window group and click on Arrange All, and we can do Tiled, click Okie dokie, and there we go. Now we can see them all at once. There's the workbook that I want to be able to pull in all their sales into for Double Bubble. And I can actually see them and access them here, but if I'm running out of room because my screen resolution is so small, you can of course go ahead and double click really fast on any tab of the ribbon to collapse it so you can get a bit more room here, and then hit equals. Go ahead and choose the cell that you want to link to from Lizzie, hit the plus key on the keyboard. Let's do it for Double Bubble and Dot. Hit the plus key on the keyboard, and then let's come over here and select the final one for Gertie, then hit enter. That works. Let me go ahead and restore this and find a tab to double click on really fast so I can bring it up and not have it on auto collapse. Now you can also do it for a function, so if I want to find out the average sales for Nerds Rope, let's go ahead and type in equals well there we go, average with it highlighted. Hit the tab key to pop open the function, and it needs the first number, so we'll go ahead and go down to Dot, and there she is. We'll have to scroll down just a bit and select Nerds Rope, the quantity, and then go ahead and hit comma on the keyboard so we can go to the next argument within the function, which is number 2. Who's number 2? Let's do Gertie. And let's go ahead and scroll down a bit so I can see it, select it, and then you can see over here, well, you have to look for it. There's the second argument, number 2. Now we need number 3, comma, And then let's go ahead and go to Lizzie. And scroll down and select it, hit enter, and there's the average. And of course it's linked. So if I go to Dot, and you can see the number's 147, and I come down here and I type in 10,000, hit enter, wow, went from 147 up to 3,371. And then if I'm done, let's go ahead and close out of these workbooks. Close, save, close, save. And you can see there's all 4 of them on my desktop. I've got the link workbooks that's linked to all 3 of these here. So let me go ahead and double click to open it up. And it says the workbook contains links to 1 or more external sources. It could be unsafe. Do you trust it? If you trust the links, go ahead and update them. If you don't, then don't update. So if any changes have been made by Lizzie while my workbook was closed, then I want to pull them in, go ahead and click on update, and it brings them in. Let's go ahead and restore it. Now, if you do get a warning that says automatic updating your links has been disabled, then you want to check Backstage by coming up here, clicking on the File tab, going down to Options, select Trust Center, and then go over to the Center Settings, and click on External Content, and we're looking at Security Settings for Workbook Links. I set mine to do the Not Recommended, Enable automatic update for all workbook links. Well, it's only me using this, so if I can't trust myself, who can I trust? And then the other options are to prompt user on an automatic update or disable it. Go ahead and choose. Let me click cancel. And then if you need to make any changes to the links to the other workbooks, you can come up here and click on the Data tab, go to the Connections group, and click on Edit Links. And you can see the 3 workbooks that this workbook is linked to, Dot, Gertie, and Lizzie. And then the address or the location, and you can see it's on the desktop. And so for some reason, Lizzie takes the workbook, or I do, and I move it somewhere else, it's not going to bring in her data. So for example, let me go ahead and close out. And close out of here. Of course, we can save it. And let's take Lizzie and click and drag her and put her in a folder on the desktop. So she's no longer there that the link workbooks can find. Let's double click to open it up. And we want to go ahead and update, but then it says we can't find some of the links. We can go ahead and click continue, but let's click on edit to find out what, oh, there we go, error, source not found for Lizzie. Now remember, even though it says on the desktop, it can't find it on the desktop, so with her selected here, we can click on change source and go to the exercises folder, which is on the desktop, double click, and it's happy. And let me go ahead and select Lizzie because it shuffled it around here. You can see the address is now in the exercises folder on the desktop, and these other 2 are on the desktop. Now, if you open this up and you didn't update the links, you can go ahead and click on Update Values. You can actually open the source if you want to open Gertie's workbook. You can break the links if you no longer want to be connected. You can check the status if you need to do a refresh. And as a side note, if you have one of the employees leave the company, but you like the layout, you could just go ahead and take Dot Warner's workbook, do a save as, and type in the new employee's name, Homer Simpson, and then go ahead and update the contents therein. And then you can go ahead and, for Dot Warner, click on Change Source, find Homer Simpson, and then that will be updated. So you don't have to do any other steps here, unless of course you want to go ahead and break the link with Dot, and then go ahead and go through the steps again to link the workbook to Homer Simpson. And then finally down below you get the startup prompts. By default it lets the user choose to display the alert or not. Or when Excel starts up, don't display the alert and don't update automatic links, or don't display the alert and update the links. That leads me to one other thought. If you're still not getting the alerts and you set that you want to have alerts, let's go ahead and click cancel and close out. Let's go backstage again. Come with me, neighbor. File. Let's go down to Options. Trust Center. Let's go to that Center Settings again. And then with the message bar selected here, it's probably not showing it, like never show information about block content. You probably want to go ahead and select that and see if that fixes it and brings up the message bar that says, hey, we're not updating the links automatically. That is, if you said to the external content, prompt the user on automatic updates for the workbook links. Thanks for watching. Hey, as a quick reminder, if you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. You can also click on me and subscribe to my channel to get notified of the latest videos. And for great specials on my products, please see the description below this video.